Hello, I'm Becky Meredith, Miss Becky. If you've taken Sunday school or been to Vacation Bible School, you may have seen me. So hello to everybody. Today we're going to read the story of the Pentecost, and that story was taken from a book called Acts and one called John. So at the end of the story, I'm going to ask you 4 questions about what happened during the story. So I want you to listen carefully so you'll know what the answers are at the end. Now here's a little hint for you that works anytime you have to read a chapter in a book or a story or listen to a story and you know you're going to have to answer questions at the end. This works at school too. If you have a chance to read the question before you read the story, it really helps for you to pick up on the answers during the story. So to help you out, I'm going to give you the questions. I'm going to give you the 4 possible answers. So as you're listening, listen for the information on the question and listen for which answer is right. Okay, so the first question is, why were Jesus' friends huddled in a locked room with closed shutters? Why were Jesus' friends huddled in a locked room with closed shutters? Was it because a bad storm was coming? Was it because they were scared so they hid in the room? Was it a game they were playing? Or was it bedtime? So why were Jesus' friends huddled in the locked room with closed shutters? Was it a storm coming? Were they hiding because they were scared? Was it a game or was it bedtime? So that's question 1. All right, question 2. What happened when a strong wind blew into the room? What happened when a strong wind blew into the room? Were there flames on people's heads? Were cold, broken hearts healed? Did Jesus come inside their hearts? Or was it all of these? What happened when a strong wind blew through the room? Were there flames on people's heads? Were cold, broken hearts healed? Did Jesus come inside their hearts? Or was it all of these? All right, question 3. Who spoke out loud so everyone could hear the story of Jesus? Who spoke out loud so everyone could hear the story of Jesus? Was it Saul, Jesus, John, or Peter? Who was it who spoke out loud so everyone could hear the story of Jesus? Was it Saul, Jesus, John, or was it Peter? Okay, now our 4th question, our last one. Who or what could stop God's plan? Who or what could stop God's plans? Was it the famine with Pharaoh? Was it Saul the Pharisee? Was it the weakness of Peter? Or was it nothing and no one? So who or what could stop God's plan? Was it Pharaoh's famine? Was it Saul the Pharisee? Was it Peter's weakness? Or was it no one and nothing? Okay, so listen for the answers to the questions. I'm going to show you the pictures, and read you the story. The name of the story is God Sends Help. God Sends Help. Story of the Pentecost. Jesus' friends and helpers huddled together in a stuffy upstairs room. Even though it was sunny outside, the shutters were closed. The door was locked. Wait in Jerusalem, Jesus had told them. I am going to send you a special present. God's power is going to come into you. God's Holy Spirit is coming. So here they were, waiting. Actually, mostly what they were doing was just being scared and hiding. Well, you can't blame them. Their best friend had left. The important people and leaders were after them, And Jesus had given them a job they didn't know how to do. As they waited, they were praying and remembering how from the beginning God had been working out his secret rescue plan. Suddenly, a strong wind filled the little room, whistling through the walls, rustling the straw on the floor. And there, on everyone's heads, shining in the gloom, were flickering flames. Fire that didn't burn or hurt. And something more. Inside their hearts, they felt a strange heat, almost as if all the coldness and hardness were melting away, as if their broken hearts were mending, and God was giving them brand new hearts, hearts that could work properly. How it happened, they didn't know, but they knew God's power had struck their hearts ablaze, and Jesus himself was coming to live inside them. They had seen Jesus go away, but now he was closer than he had ever been inside their hearts. And this time, nothing could ever separate them. Jesus would always be there with them, loving them, whispering the promise that would rid the poison and the terrible lie and the sickness of their hearts. God's wonderful promise to them: you are my child, and I love you. Make your home in me as I make my home in you, Jesus had said. Could it be? Heaven was coming into their hearts. They threw open the shutters. Sunlight streamed into the room as love had flooded their hearts, and the little room was filled with happy noises, dancing feet, singing, laughing. They unlocked the door and surged out onto the streets as if they had never been afraid. Peter spoke in a loud voice so everyone could hear. Jesus died for you, he said, because he loves you. But God made him alive again. He has rescued you. People stopped and listened. The words sank down deep into their hearts and worked like medicine that makes you well, like the antidote to a deadly poison, like a kiss that wakes you from a deep sleep. Stop running away from God, Peter said. Run to him instead, so he can love you and make you free. And Peter told them the wonderful story of God's love. God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. How Jesus had come, all that had happened. There were lots of people from faraway countries in Jerusalem. They couldn't speak the same language, but as they listened to Peter, everyone could understand what he was saying in their own languages. Many people believed and became Jesus' new friends and helpers. And the wonderful news of Jesus spread like sparks from a fire to villages, towns, cities. Every day, more and more people believed. And so it was that the family of God's children, his special people, grew. One man was watching. "Oh, stop this," Saul said. But this was God's plan, and nothing in all the world would ever be able to stop it. And that was the story of Pentecost. Now let's see if we can answer the questions. Did you hear the answers? Okay. So question 1 was, why were Jesus' friends huddled in a locked room with closed shutters? Was it a storm? Was it because they were afraid? Was it a game? Or was it bedtime? If you said they were hiding because they were scared, you were right. They were hiding because they were scared. Did you get it right? All right. Question 2. Question 2, remember, ask what happened when the strong wind blew through the room. What happened when that wind blew through that little room? Was it flames on people's heads? Was it cold, broken hearts healed? Was Jesus inside hearts, or was it all of these? If you said all of these, you were right. Did you get that one? Okay, now number 3. This one's a little harder. Who was it who spoke out so loud that everyone could hear? Was that Jesus, Saul, John, or Peter? That was Peter. And the last one you could probably answer even without reading the story. You could always just answer this question, right? Question 4, who or what could stop God's plan? Was it the famine of Pharaoh? Was it Saul the Pharisee who wanted to? Remember, he was hiding behind the wall. Was it Peter's weakness, or was the answer nothing or no one? All right, the answer, of course, is nothing, and no one could stop God's plan. So I hope you enjoyed the story of how God sent help during the Pentecost, and I hope to see you all again soon. God bless.